It's Nuendo's 25th anniversary, and we're going to celebrate it talking a little bit about our relationship with the tool that is longer than 10 years now. And for that, we have a very special guest today, so let's begin. So we have a great guest today for this video, a longtime friend and colleague. He's been in a ton of projects with me for longer than 10 years, working in video games, working in films. He's one of the greatest engineers in Costa Rica. He has led the musical theater and the immersive theater in Costa Rica as well. So I want to welcome Daniel. How are you?
Hi, Charlie. I'm doing good. Excited to be here.
Thank you for being here, Daniel. 10 years of using Nuendo, it means a lot of time. So obviously, I wanted to ask, how was that first encounter? How was it to, be in the position of needing to use Nuendo or being obligated to start over with the DAW?
Yeah, I remember at the very, very beginning, I had a bit of resistance towards switching to Nuendo. I previously used Logic and Pro Tools, so naturally, learning a new DAW was a bit of a thing. But there was one thing that made the process very, very, very fluent, and it was the fact that you can map your own keyboard shortcuts and key commands.
Yes.
So actually, that helped a lot because since I was doing most of the post and editing stuff in Pro Tools, I mapped the kind of like the Pro Tools key commands to Nuendo. So I was pretty much able to start editing in a day or two of learning how to use. And everything is very similar. I mean, I truly believe that if you learn how to edit and use DAW, then learning another one is not a big of a problem. Cutting and splitting, fades, everything is pretty much the same. Obviously, the place where things are changes, but the general process is the same. So it was actually very, very natural. It felt very, very intuitive is the word.
Right. Yeah, because in my case, it was very different, and I'm always wondering how everyone handles it. Because in my case, the choice was made by me. I decided to look for something else that I didn't have, because I was using Pro Tools for sound design and Logic for music, and I wanted some tools for ADR and stuff that neither of the different DAWs that I have or tools that I have at the time had that. I saw Nuendo, it had it, I wanted it, I started it on my own will. But I know that everyone that works with me and started working with me at the time had to do that crash start.
True. And even though you can send information between different DAWs using AAF, but one of the things that I remember that helped a lot was the track archives feature, because that made us the transfer of information very fluent. Just sending you whatever I had, and it shows up in your session without any problems, even if it has plugins, or that helped a lot. But one of the things, all of the MIDI and design stuff, I used to do it in Logic because it had a bit more synths than Pro Tools, and all of the post and editing stuff I did in Pro Tools. But one of the things that also helped this transition was the fact that you could do everything just in Nuendo, because it really had a lot of MIDI capabilities, and obviously all the editing and post stuff and advanced post stuff.
And that's actually the reason that marked my process through adapting to Nuendo, because I was doing music for certain things in Logic and like mixing and post-production in Pro Tools, and the fact that I had now all those tools in different, like synthesized or concise in one place, it took a little bit of like wiggling through the amount of tools that Nuendo has, because it's in a way you have more control, but you have more in-depth tools, so you have tons of menus and things. But at the end, the fact that you can merge those two concepts of one DAW for music or MIDI, as you say, and the other one for post-production, have it all together, it kind of blends and makes it all worth.
And saves a lot of time because you don't have to open one software and export everything in one way and import it different. And exporting, getting things out of Logic and getting things out of Pro Tools is different. So you have to really have your head in a specific place, and swapping softwares. It had to be done.
Had to be done.
But fortunately, Nuendo showed up, and we were able to condense all of our workflows in one single place.
And actually, the first project that we did together is kind of going very way back, like 10 years ago or something like that. It was a movie that we did called First Lady of the Revolution.
Yes.
And that kind of marked our process with
Yeah.
Nuendo. Do you have any thoughts on how did you handle that project with Nuendo?
I remember I was panicking a little bit because we were working on smaller projects at the time, but that was the first film that I was going to be working in Nuendo, and I was going to do the dialogue editing, which is not a simple, straightforward process. So there was a bit of panic and anxiety, but I remember that after maybe 2 or 3 days of just getting everything in place and setting everything up, it actually felt that I was working better and faster than before. Yeah. So the I don't know, that resistance quickly went away.
Yeah, I can remember now that we even had a thing with the client. Do you remember for the exports?
Yes.
That we were able to do the exports on all the things that we had to deliver, like in a couple of days, and she was like used to do it in a couple of weeks because of Pro Tools processes.
That's right. I remember that she asked us, the director Andrea. She said that when can I have the deliverables? And we said probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
She said, tomorrow? Are you sure? Because I've worked in many big studios and many bigger projects, and they usually take like a week or two to do all of the deliverables and stems and M&E and all that. And we were no.
That was a milestone in my life.
We can do that in a day, and we're saying a day because we need to check everything after it, because it really takes like 2 hours to the export itself. It takes like 2 hours. But that multi-channel export and everything in Nuendo was really a time saver.
Yes. And a moment that you really had like that revelation and you said, okay, I'm not going back. This is the door for me.
I have that moment every month. or at least
Daily.
On every Nuendo release. No, but there are many. I mean, I work a lot in video games right now, and every time that I have to do a lot of exporting or bounces, and I can just select a bunch of, 200, 300 cycle markers and export everything. Even if I want to, I can normalize the loudness on that. And even if I want to, I can set a job queue to export that in 4824 WAV and then OGG as an alternate format. And if I want to, an MP3, and have Nuendo do that in one sit, and I can just go out and do other stuff. Every time I have to do that, I think, there's no chance that I'm gonna be able to do this in a different software. So I'm here for good. With
batch export. I remember the commercial for Nuendo batch export release, and it had that they said that it's just you set everything up and you go and press play and press export, and then you go and sit down and take a coffee.
Yes.
And good, it is as it is.
Good quality time. Coffee as a resting.
Yeah.
As a resting period, not having coffee to do all the bounces and stems and everything, muting and soloing. No.
Yeah. Just letting the computer do the thing. And
at the time, it was a truly revolutionary thing.
Yes, it was, and still is.
It
I
still
think.
is.
You mentioned video games. We are now doing that. One of the big projects that we that changed our careers, I think, even it was the the Nickelodeon All-Star Brawlers games that we did. We did the first one and the second one, and the second one got really big and was awarded, not awarded, but nominated, right, for the Video Game Awards, and it became a big project for us. We didn't know that at the time, but I think that is a worth mentioning project because it was a long time ago too, and I wanted to know how was Nuendo helpful in your process? Because you were handling a big team of people and
big. I guess a big team for us and
at the time. Yes, I
for the independent sector, right? But it was a long project. I think we worked on that for like a year or something like that, maybe a bit more or more or less. And yes, there was a team. Yeah, we had three designers and myself. I was designing a little bit, but I was doing mostly implementing and doing like a lead audio role. But Nuendo, I think there were two things that Nuendo did that helped a lot. One was being able to, again, the track archives, being able to send track archives with assets or, even the clip packages, but to send assets between the designers, because sometimes in games we not recycle, but there has to be some I don't know, I guess unity or
live
cohesiveness
in sound design.
Yes, exactly. So being able to send between different designers things, and even with plugins and everything, that saves a lot of time. And the other thing is, again with the track archives, but something that you don't really think about when you're working, but once you finish working on something, an important process, at least for me, is archiving the whole design workflow, because that way we can go back to it if we need to adjust things. And again, after designing a character, for example, you can just export a single track archive and have that as a backup instead of like sessions that might, I don't know, not open correctly if the version changes or if your setup changes. So the track archives for archiving being a bit redundant, but that helps a lot. And also having multiple marker tracks, that helps a lot, because you can also, one thing that we do a lot is having the markers in a track, the ones that we're going to export. And I don't know, if you're designing 300 assets in one session, being able to move those markers to another marker track for things that you have already exported is really helpful, because it clears a bit your marker list, but you don't have to delete them because maybe you have to tweak them. So you bring them back to your working marker track, or have one for ambiances, one for effects, one for Foley. So being able to have like 30-something marker tracks is really, really helpful, and being able to swap between them.
Yeah, also I remember, and I wanted to mention that, the fact that you can keep your profile with you.
Yes.
And you can handle that and move it so that, did it help a lot, right?
Yes, because in a context of a facility, obviously an indie facility, but
right.
that really helped because, I guess in a lot of places you have a studio that where you record because it has the live room or whatever. Then you have another studio where you can just edit or mix or whatever. We used to move between rooms depending on what we needed to do. So being able to keep your own profile and just get onto a new studio, just load your profile, and you have all your settings, all your key commands, all your everything.
Your views, your panels,
everything is the same. The only thing that changes is the physical space, but it makes very, very easy to change the working places, and because that speeds up the process.
In my case, we were doing the music. You were in the sound design part, and we were in the music part. And for me, it was very. I always keep markers for like cues, like where do I want the click to start at, and for the parts, the sections of the songs. For me to be able to automate the mixing quickly by sections. Yeah. Also, to create the loops that I want, so that I can mark the loops and then just measure in samples and beats and everything. So I have a lot of precision and control using markers as well. And if somebody had to use the room, they bring up their profile and everything changes, and very useful. I think it was a before and after for us in terms of how the team worked around.
Yeah.
because of the the facility or the easy of use that we have because we had Nuendo.
And also, well, at the time, a lot of DAWs already have this, but at the time, only Nuendo had the ability to have folders and just organize your session, and that's for huge when you're working, well, in film obviously as well, because you have hundreds of tracks, but in video games it's really good as well. You have hundreds of tracks and different designers and and you have to have it all in one place. It keeps it organized and easy to read.
I'm curious about every time Nuendo comes out with a new release and a new version, there's this wow factor of what they're trying to sell. Which one was probably your favorite? I know really mine, to give you a hint, it was when they brought up the Dolby Atmos render, because that's something that I really wanted it to have in the studio, but it was like a hassle to have all the hardware and settings and software that you wanted it to do. And one day after one upgrade, you had it in your computer already. So that marked me. I don't know what.
Yeah, Atmos wasn't very accessible or for a lot of indie places. So having all the immersive and Atmos stuff in there show up all of a sudden was really good. For me, I think, well, obviously the batch export, but I think two things, and are related to video games. But the randomizer was really good because it helps you create iterations of different assets. In video games, you have to do that a lot to avoid repetition. And usually, let's say the cheap way is you alter the pitch, but you can also do that in real time in the engine. So, but having all these features to alter the color, the pitch, and a lot of different, it allows for a fast iteration of different variations of a sound. So I guess that's one. And the other one, which I think came in the same version, I can't remember, but the voice designer. Because before then we had to use like a different mix of plugins and synths and, well, to create sort of a vocoder and other editing techniques and post, and the voice designer made for a quick creative process when creating voices for video games.
Right. One big problem or a moment where Nuendo, did it for you and made a big impact on your life, like something that Nuendo solved for you?
Well, that's daily, but I think one of the, I'm not remembering one, and this happens every so on because it's something that you end up doing a lot, which is creating footsteps for video games. So one cool thing about Nuendo is that you have all your, well, creating footsteps for a video game. I don't know. You have to think of for a bigger video game. You have to think of like maybe 15 to 20 different surfaces. I don't know, like concrete, grass, carpet, etc., etc. And for each surface, you have to have, I don't know, maybe, to be on the safe side, I guess, maybe 6 to 10 different variations of single footsteps, right? So at the end of the day, that adds up to like, I don't know, 300 assets. So being able to with the process logical editor, with like 2 mouse clicks, you can have Nuendo create cycle markers for every single thing in like seconds, and then automatically name them when you're exporting with a naming scheme. I don't know, sound effects, footsteps, and the material and everything, and have the numbers. That saves, like, I don't know, maybe days of work.
Yeah, and at the time, it had to be done with the logical editor, but now we have a tool for that.
Right.
But at the time, we have to program that into the DAW so that we can kind of do a ton of things that we were able to create tools that were not in the DAW. So that is a huge processor for us as well.
So every time I have to like create and export hundreds of assets, I remember Nuendo is a good friend.
And a big project that you remember that Nuendo saved the day for that project?
Well, yeah, definitely Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, because I don't think we would have been able to completely and successfully deliver everything in the time we had. If we had more time, yeah, maybe when you have loads of time, you can work in slower tools.
Yes,
But
yes.
Nuendo
Did
made for
save the day.
yeah, it saved the day because we didn't have, and also it's not only because we didn't have, like, we had enough time, but also for like certain bigger video games, the audio departments can be of, I don't know, maybe 8, 10, 12 people, or maybe more. But when you don't have those kind of resources, you need faster tools.
So after everything that we have spoke today, it's kind of obvious, but why you're still using Nuendo today?
Well, for me, I really like that Nuendo has a lot of features that some other DAWs still don't have. But even maybe it's not that. I think it's the fact that Nuendo seems to be, well, Steinberg, but Nuendo seems to be more, it's more proactive than reactive. I think that, I don't know, I feel that there might be a tool or a feature that might help me save some time, or something that might be a bit better, and it magically shows up in the next version. I think they're constantly pushing and trying to think how to improve the workflow and how to make me save time, which is great because I have more time to focus on the creative part and less, and I have to spend less time on the tedious bits of the natural.
And it's kind of funny that you
post-process.
say that, because it's actually the reason I keep using it, because the relationship I have being an ambassador with Nuendo allows me to know a little bit, because it's just a glimpse of what they think or what they're trying to do with the software. And I do really get the sense that they care about how we work and how they can improve the way we work. And it kind of gives me the sensation that it is actually the same thing that you're saying. They really do care about what we're doing and we can do, and how can we do it better. And that's the reason I, at this time, still use Nuendo.
True, and even questioning if some things could be better. For example, I think the video engine was completely redone or
For
revamped.
example,
Like it went through an overhaul in a couple. I can't remember which version.
That's for the-
12, 13. I don't know.
yeah.
But even that, like thinking of, okay, this already works, but can we do it better? Can
Yeah,
we make
yeah.
it better? And that kind of thing as a user, I really appreciate it, because other companies, other developers just, I don't know, it says if it's not broken, don't fix it. And I kind of agree with that, but I really think that, well, if it's not broken, yeah, but that doesn't mean it cannot be improved.
Yes.
And that I
That is
think
something that
is-
they
that is
actually,
good, yeah.
that you can sense from the brand
Yeah.
itself, that it reflects on the project and the products that they give us. So thanks a lot, Daniel, for taking the time to be here and,
Thank you for
remember
inviting
all
me.
these things,
Yes,
long years of work.
We've shared and had a lot of fun, and we've done awesome projects, and Nuendo has been there for us.
Yes. So let's pray for that again, to keep it as it is. So thanks a lot for watching, for keeping your time and watching this video. As always, see you on the next one. Thanks.